Hello YouTube, Ben back again on another one. This time my toolkit, dedicated toolkit or a general toolkit that kind of comes in handy no matter where I go, no matter what I do. So the everyday carry items and an assortment of tools that will help me in my short trail rides that I do very near home. So yeah. Without wasting time, I would just quickly dive into the tools that I have. To start with, the tool pouch. This is from Decathlon, and this is a quick, easy pouch, a hunter's pouch according to the salesman there at Decathlon, but I don't know. This kind of looks and feels like a tool pouch that can carry just about any kind of tool. And what I love the most about this kind of a tool pouch is it's a one zipper closure. So it's like that, and opens up to something like this. Lot of slots, elastic slots, very high quality elastic slots. These elastic bands don't stretch over time, and this is my 4th year with this particular pouch, and it's still as good as new. So this is an assortment of tools that come in handy in most cases. Everyday job, motorcycling, short trips, not long trips, short trips. I mean, there's of course no puncture fix kit here, so it's just the small niggles and bits and pieces that can go wrong on the and you get to fix them on the side of the road. That kind of tools. Yep, so to begin with, what I have with me here, we'll start with these big slots. What I have with me here is a multi-purpose tool. Again, a ton of Allen keys, and what else do I have? I have a Torx screwdriver, I have a Phillips screwdriver, and I have these big size. I mean, I would say this would be 8 or 9 or 10 size Allen key. And then what else? I haven't used this is because this particular contraption is for bicycles, dedicated for bicycles, and I haven't used this fella yet. But I vaguely remember having cracked open a 10mm nut with this particular end of this tool. Don't really know what this is called. If somebody knows, do drop a comment in the comment section about what this is called. The rest of it, very high quality stuff. That is why I carry this around with me. And another thing that's amazing about this particular tool is the fact that, you know, if you use any of these Allen keys, you can generate a ton of torque at right angle. So at right angle, I get to grip something as wide as this, and I can twist and turn these bolts. Removing them, putting them back is just super easy with this particular tool, is because of the kind of leverage this gives me, because this is at right angle. So if you only had an Allen key with you, you would definitely need something like an extension bar. Whereas with this, the job's done. It doubles up as an extension bar, is because you can kind of generate good enough torque, I mean good leverage with this tool. So that's expensive. Again, brand is BTWIN. Got this from Decathlon. Yep, so another tool from Decathlon. We'll come to my Leatherman Surge in a while, is because there's a lot of tools in here which I need to talk about, but we'll come to that in a while. In a moment. Now looking at what I have here on this side is again dedicated to a bunch of tools. So what I have here is a torch, 10 lumens, and kind of does the job for looking into the motorcycle, looking for parts, nuts and bolts, and figuring out if you should really go in there and work, or can you work, or maybe you can have some light being thrown in when you work on stripped wires and so on and so forth, looking for a bolt that has fallen in. So 10 lumens is good for that kind of stuff. 10 lumens is not good for a night out in the bush or in the wild. Is because this isn't enough. This is not a night torch by any means. 10 lumens, again, got this from Decathlon. The brand name is Note. Got this from Decathlon. Don't know if they sell them anymore, but this is about 4 or 5 years old, more than that, and still works like a charm. Battery operated. Yep. What I have with me is a fire stick with the Leatherman serrated blade. You can there you go. You can generate fire, and this I have used not exactly this. I have started fire a lot of times. I was an avid trekker for a really long time of my life, and I've started fire in the bush with all sorts of tools, and I always wanted to carry a fire stick with me. So this particular toolkit presented that opportunity. I mean, I thought I should definitely include a small fire stick into this toolkit, is because this is a multi-purpose toolkit, an everyday carry toolkit, and most of the times when I'm in the wild and the bushes, things like these come in handy. Moving on to my ratchet, my mini ratchet. What's good about this is the fact that it is as small as it can get. Of course, there are ratchets that are smaller than this, but this is a decent brand and a heavy duty one. I can generate enough leverage and torque with this to kind of fasten size 12, size 14 bolts. And that is what this is good for. I mean, what you use a ratchet for, a mini ratchet that can double as a ratchet, heavy duty ratchet as well. So this is not exactly the alternative for a big ratchet, but kind of at times when in need, in emergency, you can definitely take on the bigger bolts with this as well. A mini ratchet with extension bars. I have two sizes of extension bars with me, and I have all the sockets. So these are an assortment of sockets that I find are the right size for the Himalayan. What I have is a size 8, a size 11, 10, 12, 13, and what else do I have? That's about it. And I also, like I said, I have two sizes of extension bars depending on where I'm working on the motorcycle. So this is about 1.5 or 2 inches, and this would be 4 inches of extension. Now I can of course extend it further, make it a 6-inch extension, and that's all there is to it. You don't need anything more. If you have this, you can get done with 90% of the jobs on the motorcycle. I am not talking the big bolts, that is bolts or nuts. I'm only talking 3/4 of the bolts on the motorcycle, and that's pretty much it. Again, size 8, size 10, size 11, size 12, and size 13. That's all the sockets that I have. That's all there is to it. That's all that I need. So this is a Tupperware mini wrench, very, very tiny wrench, adjustable wrench, and this can take on bolts or nuts from a size as less as 6 millimeters to as big as 14 millimeters. So this is a size 6 to size 14 spanner or wrench. And this is a size 6 to 12, not 14. This is a size 6 to 12. So from 6 millimeter bolts to 12 millimeter bolts. I use it to tighten my spokes. I use it to tighten or hold in place a lot of bolts. Very, very handy tool, very versatile. You really don't get it unless you use a tool like this. You might be under the impression that you need a bigger wrench, but once you start working with smaller tools, you understand as long as they're designed well, they're all that you need. You don't really need to carry all those big tools on your motorcycle. It's because anything and everything on a motorcycle is added weight, and that is definitely disadvantageous when you do trail riding or off-road riding. You want to keep the weight as low as you can. So yep, another fantastic adjustable wrench, mini wrench. What you see wrapped on the wrench is red electrical tape. The only reason why I have red electrical tape is the fact that, if I have a stripped wire or stripped wires in the middle of nowhere, I go ahead and do a small patch-up job with red tape. And when I come back home, when I have enough time, sufficient time to sit on these jobs, I am able to spot the points and joints where things have kind of gone wrong because of the red tape. The red as a contrast color comes up pretty easy to the eye. That red tape, pretty obvious to the eye, and so you have it here. One spanner, open end spanner, that's all I have with me. So I have a size 10 and size 13 open end spanner. With these you can adjust your clutch cable free play, and a lot of tools, a lot of nuts and bolts. You can kind of do a reasonable job with this and this. So size 10 and 13, and an adjustable wrench size 6 to 12. Valve removal tool. This is nothing but glue, rubberized glue. So this is a valve removal tool. I have had many episodes where my tube valves, air valves, go for a toss, and I have to remove it in the middle of nowhere and change it. I carry a bunch of spare valves with me, which I don't have right now. I have to restock them. But this is a valve removal tool. Pretty easy to pull out the valves from the mouths. What you see here is Loctite, blue Loctite, red locker. This is not red Loctite, this is blue Loctite. Does the job. I mean, you get these fellas nowadays in retail outlets. I'll attach a link to all these products in the description. You guys can definitely go and check them out and buy them if you feel that they're worth your money. A spark plug removal adapter. So this is a dedicated socket for the spark plug. Remove the spark plug, check the condition of the spark plug, clean if necessary, shove it back in, and so on and so forth. Sandpaper, very coarse, very heavy gauge sandpaper, and very coarse sandpaper, just to get rid of or to scrub on the tube if need be, and get rid of surface rust, so on and so forth. Oh, what else do I have in this pouch? Okay, so some spare fuses, 15, 10 and 5. Yeah, so these are fuses that go into the motorcycle. You have fuses of the same value. There's also a 25. I couldn't get 25, so I'm holding on to these fellas, and they also come in handy. Remember, if there's a fuse that gets blown on your motorcycle, it's 90% of the times not the issue with the fuse. It's something else that's going wrong. So you'll have to figure it out, what has gone wrong and how to fix it. Maybe at that moment you can kind of just go in with a fuse, a replacement fuse. But it's very important to figure out why there was a short in the electrical circuit in the first place. So once you have sufficient time in your hands, you can definitely investigate and figure out what went wrong. So spare fuses, some grease, pull out your axle or stuff like that, just to be able to go in with a shot of grease. So grease in a sealed envelope, waterproof grease. What else do I have here? A spare fuse, nothing else. So that kind of empties this pocket over here. Moving on to weights. So this is stick-on weights that you can use to balance your wheel. I mean, if it is a little terribly off in terms of weight. I've balanced my front wheel. My rear wheel did not need balancing. So the weight was okay. So that's that. So last but not the least, we have a multi-purpose tool from Leatherman. This particular model is Leatherman Surge, and from my experience of having owned multiple tools, multi-purpose tools, I can very clearly state that this is just number one. This beats every other tool that I've owned. All the Swiss Army knives that I've owned, nothing comes close. For all you fellas, you can definitely go ahead and check this out online, read about it, watch videos. There's plenty of videos on this particular tool, Leatherman. And then these are models. Each model has certain things to offer over the other. You can compare them and buy whatever you feel is the best. What is amazing about this is the fact that it speaks one language, quality. You can trust this particular tool to do work for you. I mean, real work that requires a lot of force, a lot of tension. This will not give up on you. Unlike the other multi-purpose tools that I've used, where over time or over multiple usage, you end up losing one tool after the other, and they just become a little weak. And they become weak very quickly. In comparison, this particular tool has just oozes quality everywhere. I could go on and on and on about this. I could talk about it for hours at a stretch, because it's that amazing. It has these wonderful features. It has a serrated knife. It has a regular knife. It has a saw. It has what else does it have? It has scissors. It has so it has these wonderful tools, and then once you open it, what you get is a cutting plier, very heavy duty cutting plier, not the average cutting plier, and it also doubles as a nose plier. And then it has these wonderful slots where you can use this to strip wires, to crimp wires. So this area over here kind of acts like a crimping tool. Crimping, cutting, splicing, name it, and this feature of the Leatherman can take care of it. Moving on to what else do we have? We have an assortment of tools over here which you can pull out. There you go. So I have a flathead, I have a larger flathead, I have a poker, a tool that can poke and kind of make holes, So that's that on one end. On the other end, you have a bottle opener, and you have another interesting feature, very interesting, is this: the fact that you can you have this socket here which holds on to various bits, and Leatherman provides you with these bits, so you have just about anything and everything that you want. A double-sided Phillips head, and then you have Allen keys, and then you have really tiny Torx screws, and so on and so forth. So this entire range comes along with the Leatherman. Leatherman also, the Surge comes along with a file which can go into so you have this feature, you have a saw, and you can kind of and what you can do is swap the saw out with a file. So a saw and a file, and this just doesn't end with this. There's so much more to it. Like I said, this particular end, what's interesting about it is, if you want to use a bit directly into it, all you need to do is just, there you go, lock it in place, and then now you can use it like that. You can kind of extend the tool vertically, in one axis, and use it in its full length. Of course, generates enough leverage. You can also hold it like this at right angle and use this angle to generate maximum leverage. So you can use this socket to hold on to the bits and do your job. You also get a ratchet, a Leatherman ratchet, to go with these tools, multi-purpose tools. So when you shove in the ratchet into the socket, it does the same job pretty much. So this is a wonderful feature of the Leatherman. You can kind of keep extending this tool. You can play with all sorts of possibilities. You have these sockets. These sockets are mine, by the way. I've just borrowed them from my bigger toolkit. So there you go. And now it's a ratchet and a multi-purpose tool. Everything in one. So the best thing about a Leatherman is this is as versatile as it gets. So that's the whole of it. That's the Leatherman Surge and all that it comes along with. Of course, you have other models from Leatherman which are far more advanced, but this is somewhere in the top It's definitely not the lower end of the Leatherman range. It's in the top. Quite expensive. If you care to go ahead and buy this, I can assure you one thing: your money will not be wasted. You can use this for generations. You can give this to your son, and he can later pass it on to his son if these tools will be relevant in the future. But that being said, that's the whole of it. That's my toolkit. So that's all that goes into the small pouch. Well, so that sums it up. That's the whole of it. If this helped, let it help. That's all there is to it. There's nothing more to tools or a toolkit, but for you discovering what works for you and what doesn't. And that only happens with experience and time. So the more time you spend, the more you make a curated assortment of tools, and you will know which ones work, which ones double up as multi-purpose tools, and so on and so forth. So we'll attach the link of all these tools in the description. Do check it out, and if you feel like going ahead and clicking on the buy button, do so. And see to it that you also get yourself a nice pouch. A nice pouch is very important when you want to make a compact kit. And yep, that's about it. Do subscribe to the channel, share these videos if you find these videos interesting and of some worth, and yep, leave a big thumbs up if you like the video. That would be it from me on this one. I shall see you guys on the next one. This is Ben signing out for now. Ciao.